Hello. It says it's preparing to go live, so I'm just staring, waiting until I get to connect with you all. Okay. Um, okay, now we're really live. All these little steps along the way. So thank you for those that are able to join me here today. I have been really aware that a lot of the energy that we've been working with for the last year has been creating a sense of limitation or hesitation or what's possible, what we thought was possible doesn't feel as possible anymore. I even noticed that a couple days ago, I sat at my computer and I looked up flights. And I know that sounds sort of weird because I wasn't necessarily going to go anywhere, but I found just the practice of seeing that it was possible shifted something in me. And that's why I wanted to share my process with you on how I can sort of identify something that's blocking and move through it, start to create the transition, create the energy that will shift it out of a block state or feeling like we're blocked and can't do something. You can see the vision, but it doesn't seem possible, and move into the place um, of really letting ourselves feel it as possible. And it's a really big issue right now. This is like, it's not just a few people here and there. It's like everybody has to face this because we're, in a way, we're altering our way of feeling empowered. We're claiming a certain new way of being empowered by by adjusting to what's happening in the world and not letting it mean that we can't um, be who we're here to be aligned with our own source energy. So if you just be patient with me, I'm going to double check to make sure things are working correctly, um, so that if you just, I will be right back and focus on preparing for our little discussion. So yeah, it looks like everything's working. Yay. Um, and whoever is able to join me live, wonderful. I appreciate that. I'm excited to have you here. And I'm going to be recording this so other people can watch it later on Facebook or elsewhere. So as we reflect on this aspect of like having a vision, having a dream, having desires, and sometimes even that can be a sticking point, right? I can't dream. I don't have a vision, and I don't know what my desires are anymore. Um, I find that behind all of these external circumstances is this aspect that, and I work with as an energy sensitive and a psychic, of the sixth sense, the energy. There's energy around all of it. It's not just our emotions, it's not just our mind and our thoughts or our bodies, what it gets to do. Um, but it's our actual energy. right? Our spirit's got a plan. It has desires and needs, and it has energy. And when we begin to be conscious of the fact that we can actually alter the energy by how we interact with it, we reclaim our power in a situation. So let's just start by taking a deep breath together and closing our eyes. We're going to do a little guided visualization to prepare for the process of identifying that energy block, or maybe there's one more than one, and shifting it. So with your eyes closed, if you feel comfortable that way, you can do it, or you can have your eyes open. It's really up to you. But the intent is that your energy would be focused inward, not on someone else or something else, but then on yourself, because we all have free will. So this is our individual process. And in that process, I want you to take a moment to imagine that you have a connection between your physical body and the earth, this earth beneath your feet. But specifically, I want you to bring your attention through your breath and your consciousness, your intention, all the way down to the tip of your tailbone, the base of your spine. And from that, imagine that there's a line of energy extending all the way down into the earth. That energy is going down through the floor, through the layers of dirt and rock, until it finds a beautiful crystal cave just for you. And you can just imagine that you can plug into it like a light plug, or you can wrap your roots around it if that line of energy looks like a tree trunk. This is your grounding cord. This is the foundation that you get to do anything from in a physical body as a spirit here on earth. And now bring your attention up to that space between your ears and behind your eyes, your center of head space, that sixth chakra. And just take a moment to clear out your center of head, clear it out of any place you've been, any place you need to be next, clear it out of any people that pop into the center of your head. And I invite you to do that by grabbing a fire hose or a big fan and just letting the water or the air clean out the center of your head space. Just like, I'm going to clean it out. There's nobody in there but me. So that you can really have your own space energetically, psychically, to see clearly for you, rather than seeing what someone else that you care about needs, or someone else that wants to influence you is expecting. Just claim that center of head space, your psychic space is yours, and have that clarity in this present moment. And now the third step that I invite you to take is to visualize that around your physical body, you have a defined aura bubble. There's a bubble around your body. It's arm's distance away from your body, at the tip of your fingers. That energy field around your body is defining where your energy begins and ends. And you can reset that energy field by giving it a color. Maybe you want it to be bright yellow or red or purple tonight, but just imagine your aura bubble is yours, your space, not just your body. You have extra space around it. And that center of head space, your psychic space, is clear and yours. And that you're grounded and connected as a spirit and a body here on earth in this present moment. And with that, from that space, I just invite you to feel into your physical body and notice, is there a certain area of your body that feels sort of tight or stuck or blocked? Do you feel a block when you feel into your body and breathe into it? Is it in your pelvis, or is it up in your heart? Is it in your neck? Feel your body, breathe into your body, and just notice. There's no judging, there's no right or wrong. You're just going to notice. And as you're feeling into that and noticing that, I invite you to imagine that right out in front of you, there's a bubble. So if you were a little kid blowing bubbles, there's a bubble out in front of you, playful, light. And that bubble is magnetically drawing whatever energy in your body feels sort of stuck into it. It's like vacuuming it up and taking it in. And then as all of that energy, wherever you have felt it in your body, moves into the bubble, and your body itself starts to feel lighter, freer, more synchronicity in the body. Just imagine that bubble floats away to a faraway place and pops and releases whatever was in it with no harm done. Now just bring your attention back to that center of head place, that space that's yours, your psychic space, your clear-minded space. Noticing your grounding cord, noticing your bubble. And then take a breath and open your eyes. So having sort of put a baseline in place around your energy to make sure you're looking at your own information and not somebody else's, to sort of clear out that first level of frequency that you felt some tension around or some stuckness around without having to be specific. You're preparing yourself to really identify what is possible here for your breakthrough. So I'm going to share a couple slides here so that you can have some information to look at that will help you as you explore this process for yourself. And on that note, it is a good time for you to, grab some paper and pencil or whatever journal that you might have. And first, just feel into noticing what area might feel blocked in your life. Maybe there's more than one, but here's just a whole bunch of possibilities. Like, is it a relationship? Is it your happiness? Is it money? Is it your health? Is it some sort of career work area that feels sort of limited or blocked? Maybe your playfulness. Maybe you're feeling like you can't really tap into that playfulness. Or like me, when I just grabbed a little of my power back by browsing for flights, even though I wasn't going to book one. That was my freedom. My sense, I need to remember my freedom. What's possible? It could be friendship, your home, where it is physically, or what's happening in your home, or if it feels like home or not having a home. Your identity. This is a big one, because over the course of our lives, our identity isn't our essence. It changes depending on who we're in relation with and what's happening in our lives. So our identity sometimes can get blocked when we're getting ready to make a shift or claim a new part of ourself. Or your family, your community, feeling purposeful, something going on in your physical body, or your creativity, like being able to actually believe and feel and flow in that creative channel. So if for this exercise, I just invite you to pick one of those for the moment and notice one that calls to you and saying, I'd really like a breakthrough on this. I really feel like it's a little blocked and or a lot blocked and I could use a breakthrough. So I'm going to focus in on this for this exercise. And remember, you can repeat this exercise for any one of those over and over again, because I am recording it. So the next thing I want you to bring your attention to is where you feel the block, where you felt that block in your body when you were in that early meditation. It might have been in multiple places, it might have been in one place, but I wanted to share this just as a little quick cheat sheet on the energetics of where we hold stuff in our body. Now, we have our personal experiences based on our life, but we also have these more collective energetic experiences around where energy is held in the body. So if you felt something in your pelvic area, was it something that around your creative and sexual energy or your empathic sensitivity, how you feel the world around you, that was being blocked? Or was it actually down in your root where your survival energy is and your money issues are? Or maybe you felt something in your communication space, and it could be about how you're hearing or communicating with someone else, or it could be about how you're talking to yourself. So I'm just inviting you to look at these things, your inner guidance, your connection with source. I see that as crown is where our guidance drops in. And then when it gets down to that sixth chakra, that analytical intuitive mind is when we become conscious of it and can do something about it. So I believe the reason that we don't have those both happening in the same place is so that we can get our information, because our analytical and intuitive mind often is processing other people's information. So like, here's ours, here's everything that we experience in the world, and let's put them together, right? Or your heart. How do you feel about yourself? Are you feeling loving towards yourself? Are you feeling critical? Are you able to give and receive love? So whatever area that lit up in, or you notice some sort of shift density, or sometimes it just looks like a splotch of color, or whatever you noticed when you were in that early part of this practice and meditation, is just a signpost. It's just there to say, hey, let's look a little deeper here. What's behind that might help me release this block? Like, what do I need? How is this related? Well, I thought it was about relationship, but I actually am feeling it in my solar plexus and my power center. Maybe because whatever is blocked in my relationship has to do with how I'm exchanging energy with that person. So that's just an example. And so when you were visualizing, I wanted to just give you this now that your eyes are open, so that you can have that in your mind, this image of when you're moving energy out of your energy field, having images you can work with is really helpful. Seeing the bubble, putting that energy in the bubble, and then moving it away. And then finally, this is where we get into the some, like overriding that sticky, tricky energy. So I want to invite you, now that you've sort of thought about maybe what that first topic is you want to look at, where you're feeling some energy blocked in your life or some possibilities block. And the first step I want you to take is to sort of just notice, I guess I should go back before we get to that and say, what would you like to have different, or feel differently, or know, or have an experience of, that's around that area that you're feeling blocked? For example, if it's in a relationship, it's in the existing relationship, you want to have a more intimate heart connection with your partner or something like that. What would it be that you don't believe it's possible? Or if it's around your money, like you need, maybe not even want something financially to support you, and it doesn't feel possible. So the first inquiry is, what would you like to be different? Or what would you like to feel differently? Or what would you like to know? Or what would you like to have? And just take a moment in your journal and your process to do that. And if you want to comment about it, the weird thing is that since I'm using Zoom to broadcast, I don't get to see your comments until afterwards. So I will engage with your comments afterwards. So please put in there anything you feel comfortable sharing that you want to just sort of declare, like, hey, I'm working through this, and we're here to support you. That's why community exists. That's why we do these things. And after you've noticed, could be long or could be short, story about what you would like to have different around that area that's feeling blocked, what you would like to feel differently or know differently, or just have be different, noticing that. The next step I want you to take is what I put in this final slide, which is 2 steps really. The first step is name the emotion or the belief you have, or the block or the limitation that is present when you imagine having what you want. So like, say, oh, I get to have the emotional intimacy I want in my relationship. Well, when you say that to yourself, when you name it, then, and ask yourself, okay, like what is present when you ask yourself that? Do you get this sensation that it's going to be too much to ask for, or it's going to be hard, or you're going to be disappointed, or there's some sort of panic? There's all these possibilities of what could have come up emotionally in terms of your belief of what's possible, that block or limit what your intention is, that get in the way of that breakthrough. And so that's the first question. And I'm just going to pause for a moment so that you can actually feel into that, and pet my dog because she's whining. You already had your dinner, Googie. I know. So just feel into that. And I'm going to be silent for a moment. What is that block? You're identifying the block so we can turn it around and override that sticky, tricky energy. What's the false belief? What's the old emotion that's not in present time? And then when you have that, I want you to move over to this second part, this name the opposite emotion or belief from that limiting version. And sometimes it seems sort of funny, you know, it could be like it doesn't really make sense, but I just want you to go with it. Like maybe if you're afraid of having the intimacy you want in a relationship, as I continue with that example, your belief is that if I have that intimacy, I'm going to be hurt. The opposite of that could be confidence. The opposite of that could be like courage or fearlessness, or instead of believing that you're going to be harmed, believing that you're going to benefit. Like the opposite of that experience is actually that I get a benefit from this rather than a loss. So just sit with that for a minute and notice your area. If it was family, it was relationship, your career, money, whatever that topic was for you. What is the opposite emotion or belief from the limiting version? So that you can turn it around. Basically, you're seeing what the energy is that is blocking you, the old belief, and looking at it as opposite. So I'm just stopping that share of the screen because I want to be present with you fully as you sort of sit with this. This does not have to be a very long process. And I know there's lots of different areas you might want to explore where there's blocks, but you can easily repeat that process, right? Like feel into where it's at in your body. Notice the area that's out of sync and relative to what your desire is, or what part of your life. Hey, oh, relationship. Oh, my communication space. Oh, money. Oh, power, like maybe it's my money and power are associated. Or look at that chakra body and think about how what you felt in your body is related to where you were feeling blocked. And then notice that old story or the belief or the energy that says it's not possible, or that gets in the way, and then go to the opposite end of it. And just like the opposite, it could be the ridiculously opposite end of it, just for that that like what I find is that process of identifying it and then looking at the very opposite end of the spectrum is a way to undo the block, or begun to unravel what was behind limiting us. So the final thing I want to invite you to do is just take a moment here with your eyes open or closed and imagine that there's a big, beautiful golden ball of light above your head. And that ball of light is there to gathering up all this really good energy for you. It's like calling back pieces of your own energy from any place that they have like been scattered in your life. And as you're noticing that and imagining this big golden ball of light above your head, I want you to put the positive word that's the opposite of your block in it. Like, oh, well, instead of fear, I'm going to have courage. Instead of, like limitation, I'm going to have infinite possibility. Whatever that opposite word was that you came up with, or opposite emotion or vibration, just imagine that it's like riding it across this big golden sun of energy. And then just reach up and pop it and let it fill you up from head to toe, just taking it in, and begin the first steps of your breakthrough, really, because you're shifting your energy and you're making room for something new, a different experience by looking at it and shifting the frequency. So thank you for being with me for that. And I just want to just say that I am in, if you haven't grabbed your free copy of the 3-day ritual, I will post that in the comments in a little bit here once I get off of the Zoom and onto Facebook, so that you can grab a copy of that, because I have that 3-day ritual for you to activate a breakthrough if you don't already have that. I think it's also possibly on my page already. And if you want to go deeper with this, we go deeper next weekend, the 12th, 13th, and 14th, a little Valentine's gift to yourself. I will be doing a 3-day workshop where for an hour each of those days, we will be working this energy to prepare ourselves to reclaim the inspiration and get clear, and then activate the breakthrough, and then use this frequency of self-love and use our sixth sense to help amplify it as we move forward through this year. So you can grab a seat in that class anytime before now and the 12th. But if you want the extra good discount, the best discount there is, grab that seat by Saturday, because the early bird price, which is only $79 for 3-day workshop, is good through midnight on Saturday Pacific time. So I hope you join me, and we can take this deeper together, because it's really important for your work in the world for you to stay on your path and not let what's happening out there in the world block you and stop you from being in alignment with your truth and what you're here to do. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful evening.